Welcome to another episode of the Persuasion Pitch. Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday. I'm so excited to have a special guest with me today. We're going to be talking to Roberta Blivens. She was with LuLaRoe, and some of you guys may know who she is because she was in a documentary about LuLaRoe with Vice, and it has millions and millions and millions of views. So I'm really excited to have her. Okay, so I am here with Roberta. I am so excited to have her. She was in LuLaRoe. So she's gonna just tell us a little bit about that. We were just talking about how much it costs to start with LuLaRoe. So how much did it cost you?
Okay, so when I joined in LuLaRoe, it was 2016, and at the time, it's changed so many times. You know how MLMs change, but at the time when I was in LuLaRoe, there were 3 different packages you could get. There was one that was like around $5,000, there was one around $7,000, and there was one around $9,000. If you bought the $9,000 package, which I know like everyone's like $9,000, but if you bought the $9,000 package, you got like 25 free items. Mm-hmm. And to me, I was like, that's all extra money. So I might as well just get the big package because I'm going to get the discount and all the stuff, like all the extras. So that's about what it costs. I don't know the exact number. It was around 9,000. It seems like a lot. And I felt like it was going to be a lot. And then when everything showed up, I was like, this is it. So that was another big disappointment thing where I was like, I only got like 3 racks. Like what? But the other thing with LuLaRoe that they don't tell you when you join is like, there's so many additional costs. There are the racks that you have to buy. There are the mailers that, you have to get bubble mailers and poly mailers and the different boxes for all the different sizes of things. Luckily, the post office does give you a few of those for free. Yeah. But a lot of them you can't get at the post office. So you also have to have the foresight to order them prior to needing them. There were so many costs. I want to say it probably cost me to even just start it probably closer to like 11,000 with all of my supplies that I needed. I needed like a print. It's not like I needed, I say the word need, but it's not a need. It's what the people in the MLM are like, you need this. It'll make your life so much easier. And so, you buy the printer, the heat printer and the label printer and this and that. And it got to be expensive. And right. It's not a cost that you're really thinking because you're like, I'm opening a business. These are business costs. Right. These are write-offs. That's what they tell you. Yeah. And but it was an obnoxious amount of money.
Yeah, like those income disclosure statements, that's what people make before expenses. So when you factor in all of these things that you just mentioned, there's just like no telling. And I mean, they tell you, okay, you're a business owner. This is what it costs to start a business, but you can, take that money and get a wholesale account, get a tax ID number and purchase, your own inventory without going through a multi-level marketing company. Right.
Right. So I mean, it does take a little bit more time. And I think that's something that people are afraid of. Resourcing and going and looking for things does take time.
You don't,
but right. But you're not recruiting and you're not worried about your social media posts. And if you made a FOMO post to make sure people are jealous of your lifestyle so that they want to join too, there's just so much extra stuff in MLM that you just don't find in a normal business.
Right.
And so, I mean, I could have taken that $11,000 and gone back to school and gotten a degree, or I could have taken that $11,000 and gone on a really amazing vacation.
So you're thinking about, the things I could have done with the $11,000.
Right. I was like, what else could I have done? I could have gone to Europe. It's also just people, backpack through Europe for like 4 months.
Like people feel like, so that they join this multi-level marketing company and they feel like close and tight to these individuals who are also reps. So they have
instant best friends.
Yeah, they have like this feeling of love and comfort and this group that they can call their friends. And I think, and that's where the psychological thing comes in. And also, and I say this all the time, but like, why would you try to sign up your friend to sell something that you are selling? Why? Because that should be your competition, because it's about recruiting. So,
right. Like why recruit your competition?
Right.
Well, because exactly. And the way they got around that in LuLaRoe was that because we weren't allowed to pick our inventory, quote unquote, everyone had different stuff. But, you know, as things started to unravel, you started to realize that everyone had the same stuff and they weren't just making 5,000 of each print, and everybody was getting that horrible stuff. And I could look at anybody's inventory and be like, I have this, I have this, I have this, I have this, I have this. They're just different sizes, but they're still ugly. So no one's going to buy it in a size
Right.
large. No one's going to
That's
buy
the
it in a
thing.
size extra
They're
small.
ugly. Like, why? Oh, like if you're gonna, why not like pick like a like better patterns than that? Like, I don't understand that. Like, I still don't understand that at all.
Because it was a scam.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. The answer to that is because it was a scam. So in LuLaRoe, for whatever reason, their art department was like required to create X amount of prints per day.
Mhm.
And so they're just churning out prints. And even somebody who's a graphic designer, who's an artist, who's creative, you know, you hit your wall eventually where you're like, I cannot create anything original anymore.
Yeah, there's like nothing
And
else.
so, yeah, so basically what was happening was the art department, and we have screenshots of all this stuff, so nothing that I'm saying is hearsay. Like literally, I've seen the screenshots.
Yeah, you were in it.
The art department would be basically just be like, well, if you can't make something, just find something on Google, and then just change a couple things, change the color, change the, you know, change the direction it's going, flip it upside down, change all the colors, because that's all you really need to do. Someone gave them bad advice that that's all you need to do to avoid a copyright lawsuit, because that's not true. But that's basically what happened. So that's when you're looking at LuLaRoe and you're seeing like clowns juggling and you're like, what the hell? That's clip art. When you look at LuLaRoe and you're seeing these like repeating patterns over and over again in like really weird colors, and you're like, man, if that was in a pastel, it'd be super cute. I mean, it wasn't a pastel. They had to change the colors because they're trying to avoid copyright.
Right.
There were things they were, you know, they purchased and downloaded and screenshotted all kinds of images that were copyrighted and had watermarks, and they didn't even remove the watermarks. That's how we originally started finding out that they were stealing prints, was we found watermarks on our clothes. You would get inventory and you're like, what does this say?
No, wait.
That's someone's name?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I never knew that. I thought I knew.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it would be like the little like W, like with the little circle.
Yeah, no, it was literally like the girl's name. Like it was like an @ sign or something, and her name.
They actually distributed these.
Yeah.
That is insane. That is insane. I never knew about that.
So, so that was one of the first things we were like, is that someone's name? And so we Google the name, and then you see all of her prints, and you're like, that's a LuLaRoe print. That's a LuLaRoe print. That's a LuLaRoe print. But these color schemes are way better.
I have never heard
what?
you know, and I do dig into these MLMs, but I never heard that one. That's really shocking to me.
There's a lot of you know, people when they're looking into MLMs or they're looking into specific companies, really the big issues are what come to light. And that's the stuff that people are like, oh my God, did you hear that they defended an ableist on in the national news, you know, and you're like, oh my God, that's crazy. But nobody knows about like the little tiny things where like, did you know that we found someone's name on our pants? Right. That led to opening up this huge like theft scandal. And I think there's still a group, and I think it's called Derivative LuLaRoe. It's a group or a Facebook page. And I don't think they're as active as they used to be because of the way that LuLaRoe has changed its manufacturing and distributing and all of that. I don't think they're creating original prints anymore like they used to be. I mean, if they are, it's very small scale. But yeah, we don't really see those issues as much anymore because of the way that they're running their business now. But there was hundreds. And that was one of the things that really, I think I was ready to leave, and I was indefective, and I was looking at everything, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to leave. And then I saw the theft, and I was like, oh my God. And I think I sat and looked at these for hours, and it was hundreds.
They have to have a product.
Hundreds.
Idea, and they have to have a product so it won't be deemed, you know, an illegal pyramid scheme. Even though
hundreds of stolen prints.
It's a pyramid scheme.
Yeah. I mean, just page after page, and people finding it. They're like, oh, I found this on Spoonflower. And they would like, here, look, I found this. Oh, look, I found this one. This is from a children's book. I found this print, and this is from a children's book that they stole for these leggings or these dresses. Oh yeah. I don't know the percentage of stolen versus original art.
Mm-hmm. A lot.
But there were a lot of copyright and trademark infringement lawsuits that were created probably, I want to say in the summer of 2018. I think that's when we were really finding a lot of them.
Wow.
And a lot of these were just settled out of court. Like, okay, yes, we stole your print. Here's your money. Leave us alone.
Mhm.
My favorite one though, this is my favorite one. It happened, I want to say it must've been 2019. It might've been 2018. I don't remember. Like the years of LuLaRoe just smushed together like a
Yeah.
giant ball of slime.
Yeah.
But it was one of their, it was like they used to call it Americana. It was like the 4th of July, red, white, and blue stuff.
Uh-huh.
And it came out, and we're looking at this motorcycle image on these leggings, and someone in Defective was like, that's Evil Knievel. And I was like, oh my God, that is Evil Knievel, you know? And for anybody who's like wasn't born in the 1900s, who doesn't know who Evil Knievel was,
Yeah.
he was a stunt motorcycle rider.
Yeah. I just don't like, I don't understand. Okay. So after I saw the Vice documentary you did, which
Mhm.
is huge, by the way, it's huge. It always comes up in my recommended videos on YouTube. I'm like, I already watched that like 5 times, but so after all of this stuff, I saw someone post on Facebook that trying to like, this is their business. They're promoting LuLaRoe. I was like, that company, people are still signing up for that company. What the, after
Uh-huh.
all of this, and then the girl commented and said, "Oh yes, we're new and we're improved." Da da, all this stuff. I'm like, please, come on. I, it is beyond me how they are still in operation today. Like, I just cannot.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that.
Um,
I mean,
it,
wow.
it, I'm like a huge musical theater nerd, and it just reminds me of like Chicago. Like every time I fall in the mud, I just get right back up. It's like,
Right?
it's like,
Right.
it doesn't matter. It's like they
God.
could fall face first in the mud and they get up smelling like a rose. And I don't know how they do it. In fact, the Evil Knievel thing, they somehow turned that around into a publicity stunt as well. People were like, this is Evil Knievel. And we found the same image and we transposed it. So it would, like, with the opacity, you could see it was the exact photo on top of the leggings. Like, there's no way that they didn't steal this. This is exactly the same thing. They just changed the colors. So we emailed the Evil Knievel Foundation. We reached out to his son, Kelly, and we said, hey, are you aware that this billion-dollar company, LuLaRoe, is using your father's likeness on thousands and thousands of leggings that they've literally already sold and already made their money on? And he was like, no, I had no idea.
Oh my God.
So we sent him all the proof and the screenshots and everything. And he said, thank you so much for bringing this to my attention. We'll get this handled. Now, at the time, the Evil Knievel Foundation was very close to bankruptcy. They didn't have a lot of money. And we thought, hey, maybe suing them or something could get them some money.
Right.
And what ended up happening is 2 or 3 weeks later, LuLaRoe came out and said, hey, introducing the Evil Knievel collection for LuLaRoe. And everyone was like, who? Why
Okay.
would we be using like a 70s stunt,
Right.
like a daredevil stunt driver
So did they
as
get with them
like,
and say, "Hey, I'll give you a cut of these"?
so
No?
we don't really know exactly what happened, but I
I bet
think
you.
what we figure out is that most likely the Evil Knievel Foundation reached out to LuLaRoe and said,
Mhm.
you
Okay.
can pay a licensing fee or
Right.
we will sue you.
You.
And LuLaRoe said, here's your licensing fee, and
Right.
then turned it around and said, we have a collection with it's LuLaRoe for Evil Knievel. And everybody was like, what? And yeah, so the answer to the what was that they literally stole it and retroactively created a collection to cover their asses.
Insane. Like, did you recruit anyone while you were with LuLaRoe?
Oddly enough, no. Every single person came to me. I got in at the quote unquote right time where it was blowing up,
Mhm.
and everybody was like, oh my God, I saw you were selling LuLaRoe. And I was like, oh yeah, I just started. They're like, oh my God, I love it. I wanted to sell it. And can I be on your team? And I'm like, sure, yeah, here's my link.
So they
Like,
paid that
that's literally how it was.
they paid that startup cost like you did,
Uh-huh.
right? That's
Yeah. And I mean, there was definitely like, obviously getting people on your team is good because you would get like with a minimum of $5,000, like, and no one only spent that, people would get that and then they'd buy a couple packs of leggings or something that wasn't in the intro package that they wanted additionally.
mhm.
And so you'd spend a little bit more. And I'd be like, that's a $350 bonus right there. Every
Right.
single time somebody signs up, that's like $300 bonus.
Yeah, and like what I say, it's like, and this is what I've told my listeners in previous episodes, the ones that are making all the money at the tippy top, someone's losing money somewhere. So they're making it
Right.
off the backs of the ones who are losing it. But unless like the founders know what's happening, okay?
Hmm.
I mean, they
Oh,
know.
they definitely know.
Okay, they definitely know what they're doing. But I just so even with you were, having a downline like that and all of this stuff, like what made you, and I know that you did mention some of what made you decide to leave, but when did you start like seeing like the signs like, this isn't right? You know what I mean? Like what kind of put you in that mindset to where you were like, you know what, this is like messed up. I just don't think I should do this anymore, you know?
I think the first time I started really questioning things was probably only a few months in.
Oh wow.
Um, I would question things and I would get an answer that satiated me enough to go, oh, okay. Um, and I didn't really dig in deeper because I
That's
wasn't
fine.
seeing any negative aftermath of anything.
Yeah.
Oh, my
You
dog's coming in
kind
to
of
say hello.
so you
Um,
kind of justifying it within yourself, like,
right. So I was like,
oh,
oh,
that's
okay.
why,
Oh,
yeah.
that's why. All right. People are
And I'm sure
jealous.
your
That makes
upline was
sense.
like, yeah. And so, like, were they like love bombing you? Like, Roberta, she's on my team, let's show her
Oh,
some
always,
love.
always. Always love bombing, especially for people that I don't know, just like I was in a very unique position because I'm in Southern California and
Uh-huh.
LuLaRoe's in Corona, which is in Orange County, which is like an hour and a half, 2 hours for me.
Yeah.
So if there was an event that's like, oh my God, we're having a launch tomorrow, I could be there. I'd be like, all right, I'll go. And so it was very easy for me to get to these events. It was very easy for me to be around the people that were quote unquote important in LuLaRoe because
Yeah.
they're here in Southern
Uh-huh.
California. So I met Deanne before I ever was even in LuLaRoe. I met her at an event that I went to when I was thinking about joining.
Yeah.
And, I just had this really unique perspective where I just got to know a lot of home office, like Jordan, which is like one of the guys. And, if
Yeah.
people are really obsessed with LuLaRoe and they really will go down the rabbit hole,
And
like
this
there
was
is
before her.
information to find.
This was before her. Like, didn't she go to Tijuana? Was this before
Yeah, this I
she?
think was probably before. I don't know. I don't know when the Tijuana skinny started. I was not a part of that.
Okay.
But um she went down to Tijuana probably before LuLaRoe was even a thing. So I
Okay.
wouldn't be surprised if she was taking people down there
So
at
for
the
the
beginning, but I
listeners,
really don't know too much. I was
okay.
approached on the cruise by someone because I was like, "Oh my gosh, girl, you look amazing. What have you been doing?" And she's like, "I went down to Mexico and I got the weight loss surgery." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh." And she's like, "If you want to go, it's so great. Like it's so easy. Oh my God, just let me know. Like just tell Deanne you want to do it." And I was like, "I think I'm good."
Yeah. So for the
So that was
listeners,
like the only and I didn't even know about the Tijuana Skinnies chat or
right?
anything until after I left. So that was the first and only weight loss
Experience. Yeah. Thing
experience that
you
I
can
had in
do.
LuLaRoe. Um, but yeah, being in Southern California and having the unique ability to go to do these things, I was privy to seeing things and doing things that a lot of other people weren't.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I got love bombed a lot, like, oh,
Yeah.
Roberta, you're such a rock star. I mean, the owner of LuLaRoe used to call me a firecracker. She's like, you're my firecracker. And I was like, okay, whatever that means. Like called me all the time. Oh my God, you're such a firecracker. And I'm like, okay. Um,
You want to keep you in.
so the love bombing for sure. But yeah, there were definitely times where I was like, I don't know, and my upline knew what I was making and knew, the bonus checks I was getting and knew the amount of people that were underneath me and knew that I was a decently heavy enough leg that if they lost me, there
They
would
were
be quite a bit of,
great.
remodeling to do after the
Right.
fact. So I did get a
Especially
little
if
bit of
you
that
took
love
those
bombing.
people with you. If you took those people with you,
Right.
they would.
And,
Yeah.
I see Huns now and I see things and I'm like, oh my God, it was never like that. I definitely think there were probably veins of Hun inside of me.
Uh-huh.
But I was definitely not the person that's like, oh my God, girl, you have cancer. These leggings are so soft. You'll love wearing them to
Oh my
cancer treatments. You know what I
god.
mean? I was never that kind of person. Um, but
But
I
it
will
does
say
happen. But it does happen.
it
It does
does happen. It
happen.
absolutely
You know what?
does. It
They don't.
absolutely
I mean,
does.
and they're so brainwashed. It's like I don't even know if they know that they're doing that. I don't think
I
they
don't
know that
think they
they
do.
know. Like, let me stop and think. Maybe I shouldn't prey on someone with cancer.
I think that I mean I'll get back to that in a second about finding a hole and filling it because that was a big thing that they taught us how to do. But because I was so close to everyone in LuLaRoe and I had 75 girls underneath me, of which I didn't ever personally recruit any of them. Some of them were given to me. as a way to bump me up faster so the girls above me could get bumped up faster.
Right.
I remember being fed some people on my team, and when those people joined, the girl above me hit, and I like once those girls joined, I hit my rank, which caused the girl above me to hit her next rank and caused the girl above her to hit the top rank, which they all got massive bonuses for that. And I felt honored at that time, like, oh my God, I'm the reason that you got to do that, you know, at the time. But now I'm like, ew, gross.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started being like, this doesn't seem right, or this seems weird. I think the biggest love bomb was that my mentor, which is the highest rank in LuLaRoe, came to me and said, girl, like, we know how hard you worked this past year building your team. You know, I know that you focus on, you know, making sure that you're getting your girls educated and working with your team and making sure that they're getting all their stuff. And I know that you haven't been focusing on sales too much. So I just wanted to gift you this cruise. And so I got to go on the cruise for free. Like, I didn't even qualify for the cruise. They fully gave it to me. They fully gave it to me. And I was like, oh, well, that's neat. Free trip.
Keep you in the game. Like, they
right.
Keep you in the game.
So, exactly. And looking back on it now, I was like, yeah, you know, I was already starting to kind of fall off the wagon, and they're like, come on this cruise. And I think they thought me going on the cruise would make me reinvigorated and be like, yes, let's tackle 2017. Unfortunately, in 2017, there were so many people that qualified for the cruise that they had to have 2 cruises. And the first cruise was 100% LuLaRoe. The boat was decked out in all their colors, all of their everything. It was a dry cruise. You could not buy drink packages because they're a Mormon company.
You couldn't do.
What was that?
You went on the cruise with the decked out?
I didn't. I went on the second cruise.
Give me pictures right now.
And the second cruise, right? The second cruise was half and half. So it was everybody else that had gotten a cruise, but not enough to fill a whole boat. And so they put us on a much bigger and nicer boat. We were on, I think, the Oasis of the Sea, which is like the second largest cruise ship in the world. It was humongous. There was like a zip line and rock climbing walls and a wave pool, like insane. There's an art gallery downstairs and we went and checked out. I mean, it was crazy. I was like, this is a floating city. Like, this is insane. But the positive of being on the half LuLaRoe cruise was that I was able to just wear a bathing suit and blend in with the normies and not do all the LuLaRoe stuff, because I didn't want to do the LuLaRoe stuff. I was on vacation. Right. I was not there to work my business. People brought clothes and were going live in their rooms and selling clothes. So why would you bring an entire suitcase?
Not all of this.
What's the point?
No.
What's the point? Why can't you just have an online sale with pictures? I don't understand. You need to bring clothes and go live on a cruise. You're supposed to be on vacation, you psycho. So
no, and
that was like, for me, I was like, I'm not doing anything LuLaRoe. I did try to go to like 1 or 2 things. And it really felt culty to me. And I was like, this is supposed to be a vacation, not a seminar.
Right.
I went to the stuff that I was quote unquote required. I said, look, they gave this to me for free. I should at least show my face in 1 or 2 things. So I went to the things I knew that I would be seen at and wouldn't be chastised for not going to. And other than that, I just enjoyed. And for me, that was really one of the bubbles that popped, where I was like, oh my God, this is a cult. The way that retailers followed a home office around like an entourage. I'll get you a drink. Oh, you need towels? I'll get you a towel. And I'm just like, what is happening? The obnoxiousness of people, the way that retailers talked to each other, like sitting in the jacuzzi. I just remember like sitting on one side of these giant jacuzzis. I mean, they're like 40 people jacuzzis. They're massive. And it's a circle, so it echoes. And I don't think these girls knew that it echoed. And I'm sitting there in the jacuzzi with one of my friends that was on my team, and we're sitting there together. Both of us are like, this is ridiculous. Listening to these girls just gossip and cause drama. Like, she knew that I was bringing leggings and she brought the same ones. And I'm just like,
oh my gosh,
I can't do this anymore. And so that, I think, was the initial like pinprick of the balloon, but it wasn't a big enough one to pop. It was just enough to be like,
I got
you know what I mean? So like the air started leaking out and I was like, this seems like I might be in a cult.
Yes.
And that's what opened it up. And then I started researching and I started looking into, because at this point there was negative press. When I joined, there wasn't.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
when I joined, there wasn't. In 2015, I looked around for, and I couldn't find anything.
But now,
But 2 years later,
yeah,
when I start looking for things, there's blogs of people that had horrible experiences getting bugs in their shipments, getting special treatment, buying hand curated packages from the warehouse workers. They would put all the good stuff in boxes and set them to the side while they were packing other boxes. And then those people that were local would come and pick them up and pay cash. And so the warehouse workers were taking cash. And things are going missing, but they're not going missing. The warehouse workers, like, and I believe it was like allegedly one of Deanne's sons allegedly was like the mastermind behind this scam. So that was concerning to me. I was like, what? And then, and then from that point, everything else just starts to crumble. Like anything you hear, you're no longer skeptical. You're like, well, they're doing this, so that makes sense too. And then I started seeing things that were silly and weird and like, why is this happening? And it again just caused me to look around and say, this isn't right. And then there were certain things that they did that just started rubbing me the wrong way. And I was already disenfranchised at this moment. So I think as somebody who was super all in and I heard this noise and this news, I would have been like, what? That's ridiculous. But somebody who already thought, can you shut that door, please? Swear to God, man. Mom life.
Yeah, so
quarantine mom life.
Yeah, I'm probably not even going to edit this out, everyone. This is for life.
Yeah, I'm like the dogs coming in to see, the kids coming in.
And I have a dog too, and my son's going to get off the, off the bus in a little bit. So this is it. We're moms. So
we were watching your son on TikTok. My daughter, and when he was doing the cube thing, and she goes, I know exactly what he's trying to do. I was like, I have no idea what's happening right now.
That's another thing. And real quick I want to tell everyone, the listeners, about the Tijuana thing. And this is more cult like. What they did was they went down there and had weight loss surgery done. And it was kind of like they wanted other people, the higher ups, to go get the weight loss surgery done, like, because they wanted to look good. So that's like more of like a culty thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then like,
oh no, Deanne told us she liked us to be a medium or smaller. And if we were going to speak on stage, then we needed to be a medium or smaller.
So
and
body shaming.
Right. Yeah. And in a company that's quote unquote empowering and inclusive to all women up to size 3X.
A Mormon Christian company.
Right.
Mormon Christian
inclusive company. Of women up to 3X. I'm like, why even make 3X if you want us all to be medium? I don't get it.
So a Mormon Christian company that are body shaming, stealing other people's designs.
There's alleged drug use. There's alleged drug use. There's alleged drugs being smuggled over from Guatemala when there are factory tour trips. Check it out, La Farmacia, and bringing stuff back. Again, I was not privy to that, but I know people that were. And I know people that saw it happen.
Yeah, don't come for us. Don't.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Being offered Xanax backstage right before going on, so you're not nervous or anxious. Oh, take a Xanax, you'll feel better. Take this medicine that's prescribed to me by my doctor. Hopefully you don't have any side effects. Good luck.
Right.
And then sending you on stage in front of everybody, like hundreds and hundreds of people.
Oh my gosh. I can only imagine someone that's like, it's like never taken a Xanax before in their life, and they're just passing out. And they're like, I don't remember anything that happened.
Why is everything so slow? The other thing was in Tijuana, the Tijuana Skinnies is run by Deanne's sister, Lene, who has a t-shirt named after her. And she helps run the office. And I want to say it's $5,000, and you PayPal Lene $5,000, and she books you an appointment. She takes her $1,000 cut and sends the rest of the money to the doctor and books your appointment. So not only are they giving you this discounted surgery,
she's taking a cut.
And I think this facility in Tijuana is actually pretty clean, and I haven't heard any drama. I don't want to like shame a facility in another country. But yeah, I mean, they're just sending people. I mean, Deanne has admitted to sending people down there as young as 13 to get weight loss surgery.
What?
To me, that's insane. Like your body and your
No,
hormones. I don't think you should do anything like
no, their
hormonally
parents
related
are
until
not
you're at least 18,
even,
19, 20 years old when your body has stopped
if their parents are
doing what it
saying
needs to do.
okay, like how, like, are these just like, I mean nothing against the Mormon religion. I've said this in my previous episodes, but they do have a lot of children, and that's
Hmm.
just what they do because their children go on missions, all of that
Right.
type of thing. So was like these 13-year-olds, like were they just like children of,
I have no idea.
oh my
I don't
god.
know if it was a family member or a
You
friend
can't
or
imagine, that's literally 2 years older than my son. So
right.
that's a baby. That is a
Right.
baby.
Like, why does a 13-year-old who's in the middle of puberty and all this hormonal
Right.
rush need weight loss surgery? Can we not give her a few
Right.
years to add a couple inches,
That's
let
actually
her body and hormones work itself back out? And like, what is this obsession with weight loss surgery?
and
I know some
would
people
even
need it. I
do
don't want
that?
people to be
Who
like,
would
she's
even
anti-weight loss
do
surgery.
that?
I
No,
understand certain
not
people need
anti,
things,
dude, 13 and the
but
doctors actually did
13
that
is a
and
little
made
young for
that
me.
just a little, you
A
think?
little young. I
Oh,
don't know. I mean, I think back to when I was 13 and I don't think I would want to make any permanent changes to myself until my natural hormones and everything
that's a
had done what they're
13-year-old
supposed to
talking.
do.
So
You know what I mean?
13-year-olds are like smarter than that. Like, come on, dude. That's crazy.
It's just
Yeah.
I don't want to mess with it. I don't want to mess
Right.
with it.
Yeah. And yeah, so speaking of
Who
TikTok,
knows? Like, who knows what complications putting a
right? Like,
balloon
they
or
can
something in
get
a 13-year-old
infected.
daughter's
They,
or 13-year-old kid's body is
yeah,
going to
and then
do. I
they
mean, I have a 15-year-old. I
tested.
couldn't even imagine sending her to Mexico 2 years ago to get the fat sucked out of her. I mean, you're
What?
kidding me?
Crazy. And yeah, so speaking of TikToks, we were talking because
Oh, right.
um we follow each other on TikTok, and her TikToks are so funny. I was
I
like,
wish I made more anti-MLM content, but I
yeah, I
just
was like, she's like,
don't.
I was like, do you want to be, on the podcast? I was like, we can talk about TikTok the whole time. I was okay, so like I had TikTok for like years. I had it back way before it was TikTok, and then they changed the name and everything, and then like I just forgot about the account. But then I was like, well, I'm not gonna do anything with it. Then I uploaded like a video, and then I was like, oh, I just got 1,000 followers, so let me just keep going. So
It's fun. I mean, it is fun. I got TikTok at the beginning of the quarantine because we were very bored and I thought, why not? And I made quite a few videos. I've had a lot of like personal issues during this quarantine. I've been missing in action a lot because of it. And I left TikTok for a few months and then I came back on it, I think in like
I know, because I
October.
didn't even know that I was following you. I was like, what? Okay, so she asked me, I said, she's like, what other anti-MLMers are on TikTok? And I was like, me, I am. Well, so she followed me, and then I was like, wait a minute, I'm already following her. I haven't seen any of her TikTok, so maybe that's why. That's why.
Some anti-MLM people started
Maybe
following me
followed
before
you.
I ever posted any anti-MLM content. And I was like,
Yeah,
it just must be that they Googled my name and they're like, oh, she has TikTok too, and
right,
followed
right,
me.
right.
Because
Probably.
I was like, what?
Right,
Okay. I
right.
mean, I'm just a normal person to me in my life. And like the Vice documentary like happened. God, when did I
So
film
she's
that?
an icon in
2018?
the anti-MLM community. Like
2018 is when I filmed
everybody,
that.
really?
So
Wow.
yeah. So
Yeah.
for me, it's like, God, that was so long
That
ago,
was
but it
like
really
right
wasn't.
when the anti-MLM. Okay, so I became an anti-MLM advocate in 2018. So whenever I started looking into this, let me tell you, I read every article I could find. I watched every YouTube video I could find. I just like dove in rabbit hole, everything. There was nothing left. I was like, when is another article going to come out? When is the video going to come out? Like, and now it's blown up
Oh my God, it's crazy.
astronomically. Like within the past 2 years, you can find anti-MLM content, like new anti-MLM content. So,
Yeah.
but I couldn't find anything.
The new anti-MLM drama, I don't know if you've experienced it, but I experienced it on Instagram,
Yeah.
is the men loving men community thinking that we're anti
Oh my
men loving
God.
men and not
No,
anti
I
multi-level
never
marketing.
even thought about that. They were like
It's
MLM,
like,
men
I
loving.
didn't even know
I
men
thought they
loving
were
men
joking.
was what we were calling it. Like
I thought they were
I
joking.
cannot keep up with all the hashtags and everything. I
I
don't
never knew
know.
that MLM
I
ever
had no idea.
that until somebody's like, men. I thought they were just making a joke. Oh, men loving men. I'm like, oh, I didn't know it was like a thing. I
I
did
mean, I've heard
not
like
know
moms
people
losing
were doing
money
it.
and things like that. So for me, I was
Yeah,
like, okay.
mom's losing money, and I thought we were just joking.
And I was like, what do you mean? It was a couple months ago when I posted something and I was like, it was just using MLM hashtags. And I guess I used a men loving men hashtag in one of my anti-MLM videos, which brought the brigade. And they were like,
oh,
this is, this has
well, you
nothing to
should
do with men
ask
loving
them,
men.
girl.
And I was like, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. Stop stealing our hashtag. This is coming up on my feed and it has nothing to do. And I was like, what? I have no idea what you're talking about. And then I got a nasty message was like I think it was on Christmas Eve, actually, was the nasty message I got. And he called me the R word and he said it was stupid. And how dare I be anti-MLM? I'm so stupid. And I was like, and I just responded.
Anti-men loving men.
I just responded and I said, unless you're stuck in a pyramid scheme, I think your aggression is.
Yeah, you got the wrong one. Oh my God.
He never responded, but I screenshotted it and I put it on Instagram.
They thought that meant that.
People send me messages and say mean things. Like, if you're gonna send me a message and say mean things, you're most likely gonna it's gonna live in infamy forever, because I'm most likely gonna screenshot it and put it on Instagram.
Oh yeah, I mean there's screenshots.
Because it's ridiculous. Like what's with this aggression?
Not think
for
people
no
are gonna
reason.
screenshot your messages. They're screen recording. I mean, even it's funny is like hun bots will send the voice messages instead of a message because they think you're going to screenshot it, but hello,
right,
screen record it. You could forward those. Like, we can in fact, you know what, audio footage is better for a podcast or for it's easier to edit into a video. Like like you're not safe. No one's safe. No one's safe.
It is crazy. Like, don't say things you don't want potentially everyone to see,
right? Unless you call someone by *67, they don't, or you remember that, or you just call someone and you don't think your phone call is being recorded and you say something and hang up. Other than that, like, no, you're not safe. You're not safe.
I mean, I'm very pro men loving men. I mean, I have.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I'm in Southern California. Right, There's never been gay as bad ever in my life, ever. So
at all.
Please listen now and know that we are very, very LGBTQ friendly in this house. We have rainbows everywhere. We are very friendly. We love it. Cousins and friends and just lifelong everybody in my life.
Multi-level marketing. I am not anti-men loving men, just to clarify that for any listeners.
Right. I have been an ally since I was old enough to know what an ally is. So I was an ally before that. I just didn't know it had a name. So to me, it seems so silly for anybody to accuse me of it. I'm like, what? Okay. All right. I'm like, all right. Oh. So yes, for the record, I am pro men loving men and women loving women and whoever loving whoever. I don't care.
Whoever you
I am anti multi-level marketing and anti direct sales and anti network marketing and whatever other churchy zhuzhy name they gave themselves this week to hide from the fact that they're a pyramid scheme.
Right.
I'm very anti all of that.
Yes. Same. So whenever you said, hey, I'm leaving this company, I'm anti-MLM. Now I feel like I'm going to be like anti-multi-level marketing. Now I'm going to have to, like, it's going to be in my mind. It's going to be in my mind now.
They'll figure it out. We have to work together as two separate hashtag entities and really know the difference.
I
don't think anybody that's against men loving men is using the anti-MLM hashtag though. So let's be, who's like making posts about like bashing and gay bashing and like hating and being like anti-MLM. Like, no one is using that hashtag other than the advocates of multi-level marketing and the after effects.
That more, because I don't
want
it to be like
it's very silly to me.
Yeah. But. So whenever you left, did people block you? Did they stop talking to you? They did. They did.
Yeah.
And these you thought were your friends.
These were people. So in LuLaRoe, I was on a very, very high recruiting team. Everybody above me, except for the person right above me, was a mentor, which is the highest rank. So like my upline and her upline and their upline, all of those uplines down my like they call it a tree in LuLaRoe. That's why I use the word tree.
But it's a Christmas tree.
They call it, and I use LuLaRoe centric slang and language because I'm talking to those that are still in,
Right.
like people,
Yeah.
even in the Vice doc, people are like, why'd she call it a tree and make a pyramid with her hands? And I was like, I ain't talking to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I'm talking to the girl
What?
stuck in
Because
LuLaRoe. She
people
calls
can
it a tree
relate.
too.
People can relate to this, so that's a good thing. So if you are in this
Trying to
company,
use
you need
inclusive
to know the
language
terminology.
to get my message to who needs to hear it. And it's
Right,
not
right, right.
you, Brad. Okay.
It's not you, Karen. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that. I love if
Uh,
you're there are some don't get me. You're a good Karen. I do know a couple of good Karens. A couple of good Karens. And I'm sorry that they use your name. I am so
I
sorry.
do. I have some good friends
But
named
you know
Karen
what? It
who
just
are not Karens,
right.
aside from their namesake. Yeah, so on my team tree, there was just so many people above me that were mentors. And that was always like, girl, you're gonna be a mentor one day. You're gonna be a mentor by fall. Ooh, by next spring, you're gonna be a mentor. It was always about that. So it was very, very high recruiting on my team.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just when I left, several of those mentors reached out to me like, oh, I'm so sorry to see you go. And I was like, yeah, it's just, here's the thing. I didn't want to say bad things about the company to these people because these people were my friends and they
Right.
were supporting the company. And so for me, it was a personal thing. And I was like, it's just a personal decision. I
Yeah.
want more time with my family. I want more
Right.
time with my kids. Like I missed this whole summer. That's
Yeah, you
not
didn't
why I
want to
did
bust
this,
big old
et
rock.
cetera, et cetera. I don't need to give you all of my moral and ethical reasons for leaving because
Right.
you're still with the company and you're not going to hear them. So she says to me, oh, of course, I understand. Like family always comes first, blah, 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 blah. You're such a wonderful person. I'm so glad we met. Of course, we can stay friends. Don't even worry about it. And I remember like going to message her, like not even a few hours later.
Mm-hmm.
And she had already blocked me.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like,
Wow.
Tiffany, why would you tell me we'll always be friends? And then you block me like within hours. You probably blocked me immediately and I just didn't look. But so that sort of stuff really hurts. I got phone calls from my upline's husbands and like trying to convince me. Yeah.
Wow.
And I ignored it. And he messaged me. He goes, it makes me sad when you don't answer my phone calls with like a bunch of sad face emojis.
That's
And I was like, that's
strange.
creepy and weird. Please
That's
don't message
weird.
me. I'm not staying in your pyramid scheme any longer.
That's strange.
It was strange and weird. And like, what's the point of this?
You are so brave for speaking out because some people don't ever, this, I mean, it could have went completely different. They could have.
It absolutely could have. There were other people that tried to speak out against LuLaRoe, and they did it in a not as God, I can't even think. I was gonna say with not as much couth, maybe.
Right.
Like, and yeah, like it was like, so and so is popping pills and so's doing this and this is and it was all very like this is what's happening versus this is allegedly what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched that person burn up in flames and just be just wrecked and raked through the ashes of LuLaRoe. And I was like, okay, if I speak out, I'm not going to do it that way. So I just sort of
community. We have this community. So, and it wasn't crazy big back then, but we have in that.
I didn't even know there was an anti-MLM community when I
Right.
left LuLaRoe. I had no idea it was even a thing. And
so for anyone
and
that's
so
any company at all, like we're here to help you. We're
yeah,
gonna shame you.
There was the anti-LuLaRoe community, which I found so much, especially like feeling crazy and gaslit by these companies and having somebody be like, no, that happened to me too. You're totally not crazy.
Right.
Like that was very helpful for me because I was like, I swear to you, this is happening. And people are like, that's weird. That's never happened before. And I'm like, it's happened to me 5 times. Like, what do you mean? This is just the first time I've said anything. It only happened to me 5 times. Like this doesn't make sense. So going into Defective, which is now called Defectors Support, but because we got zucked, but going into Defective and meeting these women who were like, oh yeah, that happened to me too 3 times. Oh, that happened to me. Oh yep, that happened to my friend too.
I really hope
it
that
gave me so much like, you're not crazy.
Right. And
then I thought, wow, what else?
Another one though. They'll join another one. They'll be like, this one's different. Because I personally know a girl that was in an MLM, was in another MLM and said, you know what, this is unethical. I can't do this. She spoke out to me saying that, and I talk about this a lot because it's on my YouTube channel, her voice recordings, and she joined another one. And I'm like, what? So I hope that they don't join another one. I'm sure,
I
this
think
MLM is different.
for
They're all
the
the same.
people
They
that I
just call
talk
it the
to,
same.
it seems like the average MLM that people join, just from the people I've talked to in the comments that I've read, it seems between 3 and 5 is about the average before somebody wises up.
Wow.
It took me 3, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Um,
So I was also in 3. So I'm not like new.
So, and they were all very
rando.
different. They were all completely different where I
Yeah.
was like, well, maybe this will be better. Maybe this
Mhm.
is a better one. I'm a beauty veteran for 20 years.
Right.
And
That's
so
another
for
thing we
me, I
have in
was like,
common.
yeah, like beauty, fashion, anything like
Yeah.
that, like in the beauty industry,
Mhm.
makeup, beauty, skincare, fashion, hair, like that all goes with me.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I've been targeted so many times in the salon. Oh my God, have you ever
Oh
heard of
my
Mary
God.
Kay? You could sell
Oh,
it right here on your station.
me too.
Oh my
That's my
God, have you ever heard
position.
of Monet? You could sell it right here on your station.
Oh,
I'm like, I'm good.
no,
I
it's
don't want,
what I'm here to
I,
fill. Right.
I don't sell, like, I'm the kind of, this is weird. I'm one of those hairstylists that don't sell product.
Mhm.
Like if you need something and you're like, oh my God, my hair is so dry, I need a good oil or I need a
like
good mask,
recommend.
I will recommend, or I'll be like, hey, look, I'm going to the beauty supply tomorrow.
Right.
Venmo me
That's
$25
the thing. It's
and you can pick it up at the salon whenever. Just Venmo
yeah.
it to me and you
Us
can pick it up.
professionals, we get a discount. So we get a, we get a
Yeah.
professional
And I never sell at retail. I always sell below retail to my
Right. So
clients. I'm
why
like,
would
oh yeah.
why would we pay to start, like, why would we pay to be with a company and make, like way less than what we would normally make and actually have a quality product and not join a
I mean, these
service?
professional products that we can go get, we can walk into these stores and
Right.
buy
Mhm.
with our license
Yeah, and other people
are
can't.
anywhere from 35 to 75% off
More
retail.
expensive.
So why would I join a company where I only
Yeah.
make 15 to 20%
Right.
commission when I can buy better
Because
products
it's about the
for 75% off
it's about
right
the
next door to my
review.
house? Like I can literally go there and just get it. Like
That's the
I'll
only
be
reason
back in an hour.
that's the only reason I can think why a professional hairstylist or anyone, someone that holds a license through the State Board of Cosmetology, the only thing I can think of is either, they're brainwashed, which, that's,
Check.
or, yeah, or they are doing it, they're using the product because they want to recruit and they have to use the
Mhm.
product, a product. So I think
Well,
that's what it is.
yeah, well, so here's what this is. I said I would come back to it, and here's a great segue. In LuLaRoe and probably most multi-level marketing companies, though, again, I really only was deep within LuLaRoe, so I really only got to see the training and like the psychological aspect of it in LuLaRoe. The other two I was in for like less than 2 months, so I really didn't get deep in. But LuLaRoe, year and a half here. So, what we were taught in our trainings were when you're trying to sell product, you want to go on your Facebook page or Instagram page, you want to scroll through your feed, you want to like everything because you really want to interact, like and comment on anything that doesn't have anything to do with your MLM. Oh, your baby's so cute. Like, oh, how congratulations on your whatever. Like,
Be fake.
and when you see somebody who's complaining about anything that your product could possibly help them with, you need to reach out. So if you sell weight loss shake and someone's like, oh, I just can't rid of these last 5 pounds after having my baby, reach out and offer and tell her that you have a weight loss shake that can help her.
You're targeting them.
Because to these people who are in these companies, it's not predatory for them to be like, it's my friend and I'm helping her, because that's what they're taught.
Yeah.
But it is predatory because she's your friend. And you shouldn't be telling your friend that she can lose 5 more pounds if she buys the shake that you're selling.
Right.
It's unethical. Now, if you said, hey, girl, I also couldn't get rid of that last 5 pounds. And I tried this like lemon juice, cayenne, ginger ale thing, and it worked.
Yeah.
And you're not selling anything and you're just trying to help your friend and be like, girl, it might not work, but you might.
Yeah.
That's completely different.
Yeah.
Then going, I have a fat wrap that'll suck it out of you, you fat ass. Buy it. It's $87 for 2.
And I don't even think they know they're doing this. Like again, like they're told that they're doing this. And I spoke to a couple of people, and like the other girl I spoke with Rhodey, and it feels like they feel guilty. They feel guilty for doing that. And I'm like, look, don't feel guilty. I think that's like part of the process. Is like they feel guilty for going in people's inboxes and like reach, and to like,
yeah, it's definitely not the way to get.
They don't realize what they are doing.
Right.
After now they're on the outside and they're looking in because they're not.
And they're going, oh my God, I did that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Yeah. There were definitely times where like, I would say things or I would react in certain ways because they weren't anti-MLM advocates, but they were definitely like anti-pyramid. Like, I don't want to hear this. Please don't tell me. And they would speak back at me. And I would be like, I'm not pushing this on you. You know, this works for me. I'm sorry that it doesn't work for you. And I've been on both sides of that argument. And it's not an argument that either person wants to have. It's very confrontational. I would say, like, I try not to call out Huns on posts. One, because these are people that are my friends and I care about them, and I don't want them to have a grudge against me for my beliefs. The same way I'm not going to have a grudge against them for thinking that being in a pyramid scheme is going to make them a millionaire at the age of 26 with a BMW and a lake house. I'm about the compassionate education. That's how I've always been. I hate confrontation. I hate fighting with people. For me, I just really want to educate people and be like, look, you can make your own decisions. And I really hope that you choose the one that's best for you. But I'm going to give you factual information that's literally from your company, because I don't think that you're looking and interpreting this data the way it should be interpreted. So I'm going to help you. And if you want to take that advice, great. And if not, I'm sorry if you, lose a lot of money. I hope that you don't. But at the same time, me saying that I hope that you don't, that means that, you're going to be one of those people at the top that takes advantage of everybody else.
Yeah. So that's kind of like a double-edged sword.
It's a totally double-edged sword. I'm like, I wish you well, except if you do well, then you're the scammer.
Right.
Like,
right.
For me, like, I did well in LuLaRoe, but here's the thing. So, I'm actually, I don't know how much I can say about this particular thing, although it is happening pretty quick. I am a witness in a lawsuit against
I'm going to have you back in here because we need to talk
and
more.
It's the weirdest thing it's like, I don't know what I can and can't say. Right. I don't want to say something and get in trouble or say something and like ruin years and years and years of work. But it's an interesting life that I've created for myself somehow. Right. I didn't think that I would be here when I decided I'm not going to do this anymore. I didn't think that anybody was watching. I didn't think that anybody cared. I was doing it for myself. I was doing it because I wanted to help the same amount of people get out that I got in, which was 75. And so I said, I'm going to help 75 women get out of LuLaRoe. If that's just giving information or if that's like sending them the link to the resignation, whatever. In my 3 years plus, 3.5 years almost of being out of LuLaRoe, I've helped thousands of women get out of LuLaRoe. Whether it's because of the Vice documentary. I'm sure there are women out there that are like, oh, I saw that Vice documentary and that blonde girl, that's the reason I left. Well, I don't think I was blonde in that documentary, but that one girl, that okay mom girl, she is the reason I left. I mean, I've had random people reach out to me and say, they're like, oh my God, you're the girl from the Vice documentary, right?
I never knew that you were going to make this a huge movement, like this huge impact on people. So that is something to be so proud of. And I know you are proud of it. You should be proud of it.
I mean, it wasn't me single-handedly, I'll tell you that. I know. But there's these puzzle pieces. There's these little puzzle pieces. And I think that all of us advocates really do fit in our own little areas very well. There are definitely, I have a very specific style, and there are other people that have other styles that work for them. For me, I don't like the fighting. I don't like the name calling. I just want to give you information and hope that you do, what's best for you with it.
That's what I do too. At first,
I've
said this before. At first, when I first became anti-MLM, I'm not gonna lie. There's even a TikTok on my. It's still up. Still up on my TikTok account, and I'm like, Colt. Did you see that one? You're in a cult. Have you seen it?
I don't think so.
Oh my gosh, it's funny, but like, that's not the way you approach it.
Right.
Yeah, that's not the way you approach it, and I did learn that. So.
It is funny though, like as somebody who has helped so many people get out of multi-level marketing, I will tell you that telling them they're in a cult, calling them names, yelling at them, talking in all caps with a lot of exclamation points, none of that works. None of it. Zero. No one is ready to leave their cult until they've had enough.
Yeah.
And only they know when they've had enough.
Right. And I did an episode on that, and
right. And so for me,
how to get your friend or family member to a cult. what you should do when you're getting out,
Right.
when it's just about educating.
And 100%, yes, 100% about education. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's also, I'm ready to help you when you're ready to leave.
Right.
So if you need to talk to somebody, reach out to me.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to share your story, reach out to me. If you just need somebody who understands, reach out to me.
Right.
I'm not going to shame you. I'm not going to be like, God, it took you long enough. I'm not. I'm going to give you the information that you need, and I'm going to hope that you do the best for you and your family with it. I've seen women get divorces. I've seen people lose their houses. I've seen people have bankruptcies,
Yeah.
suicidal things. I don't want to give any MLM the power that
No,
that
gosh.
that anybody got to that point,
they don't care. The people that
because the MLM doesn't care. Like, I don't ever want to be like,
care
the
about
MLM is the reason this person did this.
Right.
But at the same time, the psychological aspect of being in the MLM, I completely understand. I was there. I mean, I was having panic attacks over birthday candles, shaking, crying, like my phone would ring and I would freak out.
Yeah.
And that's so not me. And it took me months to get over it.
Yeah.
I'm still not completely over it, but I will say that my advocacy
same thing is leaving a cult.
helped me 100%. They're commercial cults, 100%.
They are cults. Like, I'm not going to even say, and I normally say they use cult-like tactics. Look, they use cult tactics.
I don't know if you ever saw the interview that, I mean, I did it on my podcast, and then I think her and I did it on her podcast too, but Josie, not the good girl.
Oh, yeah, we talked about her in my last episode.
Yeah, I love her.
Yeah.
And her and I both, I was a guest on her podcast, and then she was a guest on the weekly roundup.
She used a clip of you in her last video.
She did?
Yes.
I'm not a YouTube person, so I miss all of the YouTube stuff.
She used a clip of you and she said your name, and
she's so sweet. I love her. Yeah, I love her. She's fantastic. But she came on the weekly roundup, which is a podcast, and we did a whole episode. It was every time I talk, it's so long, and we always do 2-parters, but her and I had to do a 2-parter. And the second part is all about Stephen Hassan's bite model and how MLMs are literally cults. And we go down each letter of the bite model, and we give examples of our own examples of what we experienced in each of our MLMs. And there's so many. It's insane.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I was with Beachbody, so they definitely controlled what I ate and what I wore. Right. And I was like, I was with LuLaRoe. They controlled with what I wore too. Like, so that's really great. If anybody is stumbling upon this and wanting to know, like, why are they cults or how? Yeah. Cults.
All right. So
for sure.
They definitely are. So, like, before you go, I was going to ask you about, like, what you have going on and what's, coming up in your life, and, before we end everything.
Okay. So much. 2021 it's hopefully going to be a very good year for the anti-MLM movement. I have a humongous project coming out. I don't know when, I don't know where, and I can't really say too much about it, but it is massive and is going to be incredible. I am so excited for it. Follow me on social media so that when and if I can start teasing, then you'll know what's going on as soon as I can say.
On social media, she has a Facebook page, and it's the same name as, it's her name.
Yes. Search Roberta Blevins. It's the real Roberta Blevins, at the real Roberta Blevins, on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
And that's where I post my anti-MLM stuff. That's where I'll post my teasers and anything that I can share. I'm also, like I said before, involved in a couple lawsuits with LuLaRoe as witnesses. I'm not being sued or anything like that, but I am a witness, which is pretty cool. If you go into Defector Support, you can see all of the depositions that we've done so far. You can see the evidence list of everything. I can't really talk about my evidence yet because I haven't been, whatever yet. But after, when I can talk about it, I would love to come back and do an AMA or something about it.
Yes, I cannot wait to do that.
So that's really interesting. And then the thing that I posted yesterday about a new project I was working on, I have decided that I'm going to start my own podcast. I love working with Carrie and Courtney on the anti-MLM weekly roundup, but because there's 3 hosts and because all of us have so much stuff going on and we're in different states, in different countries, and different schedules.
Even,
because Carrie's in Canada. So it's really hard for us to find a time where we can all get together. And so with their blessing, I'm like, hey, look, I want to talk about the educational, compassionate side of MLM. And I want to talk to survivors. I want to talk to people that have been through it. I want to know what you were doing and how you got there and how you left and what you're doing now and what you learned from your MLM that you still use today and the positive aspects that you get out of being in these cults.
A positive difference in
like maybe you learned that you're a lot stronger than you thought you were. That's something that I learned. There are people that were in LuLaRoe that are now opening their own boutiques and starting their own businesses that are 100% legitimate, that have no MLM. And those are the kind of stories that I want to tell. So it's just a little thought bubble in my head. I went and I got all the stuff that I needed. I needed a new computer and my birthday's coming up. And I thought, you know what? I splurged and I got myself a new computer. I posted yesterday. I'm going to start reaching out to people. I'm going to start reaching out to people and booking things. I want to erase the stigma of quote unquote failing in a business that is literally designed to make you fail. If you failed in MLM, you literally succeeded because that is what the company and business model is designed. So if you failed,
it's set up like that.
Then you succeeded. Unfortunately, it's a weird double-edged sword again. If you fail, then you fell right into exactly what it's supposed to be. So I want to end that stigma. Everybody that I've met in my life has been affected by MLM, whether it was them that was in it, whether they bought a bunch of stuff and spent way too much money and got no results, or their mom sold it, or their parents, or their boyfriend, or that's the reason. Nobody in this world has not been affected by multi-level marketing in some way.
You're so right.
And so connecting all these stories together and being able to talk to these people and show the similarities so that somebody who's in an MLM who's struggling like we were can listen to this podcast and go, holy crap, I'm not alone. Holy crap, it is the business model and it's not me. I see the comments, I read the comments, I get the messages, I see how toxic the comment section of anti-MLM with Hun shaming and you're so stupid. And I think there needs to be a little bit more compassion in that and understanding that, 99.7% of people lose money. So to me, that's 99.7% of people are victims. And to blame 99.7% of people and say, you're just a scammer. These people don't know they're scammers. They just want to, they've been taught that they're helping. They've been told that they're doing a good thing. So
it's a cult. So
well,
I just thank you so much for coming on here. And I know for a fact I will have you back on here.
Oh, I definitely
once I get
there's some big things coming on. So once I can talk about them, I'll let you know and I'll come back.
Follow her on social media, and it was great talking to you.
Yeah, it's just fun to talk to you and see your cute face.
I know. We always get along. We're
too similar to not get along. Yeah, we just have so many similarities.
Very similar. All right. Well, thank you.
Oh, wait, hold on. This means since I'm starting my podcast that you have to be a guest on mine.
Oh my gosh, I would love it.
Okay. Now I have that. Now that's, I have that in writing or audio. So you have to do it now.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And
no problem.
All right. Have a great rest of the day.
Bye.
Great. Bye. All right, you guys, that was such a great interview. And I also want to point out, and I know that she's going to talk about this next time that she's a guest on the show, but even with all of those people that she had recruited under her, she broke even. She ended up not making any money with the company. So, and she was one of the ones at the very top. So with that being said, I hope that everyone has a great rest of the week.
Wait, you guys do not go anywhere. After we recorded this episode, this past Monday, February 1st, 2021, some huge news broke. So, LuLaRoe is paying $4.75 million to settle allegations from the Washington State Attorney General's office that it's a pyramid scheme. Attorney General Bob Ferguson sued the company and its executives 2 years ago, saying they deceived people about how profitable it was to be a LuLaRoe retailer. I will leave the link to the lawsuit down below.